There we go, we got it. Dang, that is a fish. Oh, what the heck? What the heck? Oh, he, nonetheless, dang, these boys are mad at me today, man. They splashing me something fierce. All right, well, since today looks like a flounder bite, and North Carolina flounder season's fixing to start here in another month or whatever. I don't even know where the heck we're at. We're the end of July. So yeah, about a month we're gonna have flounder season. So some tips for you guys that I do when flounder fishing, because I pretty much only catch flounder on soft plastic. So if you live bait fish, I couldn't tell you. Not a clue how to catch them on live bait. Soft plastics is where I catch all of mine at. I personally don't really notice a difference in the lures, colors, size, anything like that. Flounder, in my opinion, are a severely obese dude. They're kind of like me. If you put food in front of their face, they're going to eat it. There's no doubt about it. They are opportunist. Heck, I can't even talk. I don't know what word I'm trying to use there. Eaters. So if there's a flounder laying there and you take a bait over his face, 9 times out of 10, they're going to eat. So that's why I say I'm not doing different baits and sizes and colors and all that stuff. I got 100 different baits and colors in my tackle box. I could probably throw any single one on and catch them on it. I mean, you've seen a few that I caught this morning was on the trout trick, the shrimp po' boy color. This great big one that I just caught is on the hoodwink. I don't know what color that's called, but I mean, it's your regular chartreuse color. So anything will catch them. Just, you have to put it in front of their face. Now, another tip for you. Whenever a flounder hits, usually it will bite the lure and it will just stay where it's at. Not always, but the majority of the time. So if all of a sudden your bait just stops, and this is what's difficult because of if you're inshore fishing, you're going to fish around a lot of oyster beds and stuff like that, is knowing whether it's a fish or it's an oyster. A lot of times I get confused in it, but either way, I will set that hook. And you want to set that hook like your Bill Dance catching a 15-pound bass, man. Flounder have got a very hard mouth, and it's a weird shaped mouth because of how they lay flat. So you want to reach back and give that thing everything you have to make sure that jig head is getting driven in there. Their mouth is so bony, and with their teeth and everything like that, they can be very difficult to hook. So you want to make sure when you feel that weight, or I'm sorry, your lure just stop and there's weight on there, usually what I'll do is I'll give it just a second. I'll put my rod tip down and I will just retch on that thing like I'm trying to pull up a, freaking Moby Dick over here. Just because of how hard their mouths are. They are incredibly bony. So you got to make sure you're really driving that thing in there. Another tip for artificial fishing, which I use it all the time. Maybe it's the placebo effect, maybe it's not, I don't know, but I always use some form of a scent on my lures. Pretty much my 2 go-to ones, it's always Procure, but I will use the Menhaden or I will use the shrimp. Or like my 2 go-to scents that I use on all of my soft plastics. But there's a ton of good ones out there. The Salt Strong group, they make a scent. I've used that before. I've had really good luck with it. If you use Gulp baits, they pretty much all of those come in a jar that's full of scent, so you don't need to use it. But anytime you're using any form of an artificial bait, I always try to put some form of a scent flavoring on there. That way when a fish grabs it, it's already going to feel weird to them of it being a hard bait, soft bait, whatever. But if that taste and that scent is on there, they are more likely to get it and hold it in their mouth for at least a second or two until they truly realize, hey, this isn't a real fish, and try to spit it out, and you should have enough time to get that hook set driven into them. But that scent, that flavoring, whatever you want to call it, will help that fish hold on to it longer, just because it's starting to get that taste in its mouth, and then gives you time to get that hook set on it. So I've now tied on the Southern Salt Menace Shad. So this is what that'll look like. This is just a white body, chartreuse tail. I got it on their screwball jig heads. But a little tip for you on that. Anytime you're using a soft plastic, make sure you're tying a loop knot. I do not have a video on a loop knot, but there's a million of them on the internet. So anytime you're using any form of an artificial bait, make sure you're using that loop knot, because it lets this lure get so much more action in it. And then also right there, you can see how I put my Pro Cure on. I only do it from the jig head to the hook. I don't do it behind the hook. That way I'm not getting a whole bunch of tail grabbers trying to grab onto this lure back there, because that's where they smell the scent. So I put it up towards where the hook is at. So that way, hopefully my hookup ratio is better, because they're going for where they're smelling and seeing that. So hopefully that'll help you all. Is that a fish? Yep, that's a fish. So there we go. Well, this should help me out if I can keep him hooked. Come here, dude. Come here, man. All right, well, as I was talking about how bad of a day I'm having, we got hooked up. Nope. Simmer. Ow. Oh, that was, well, there you go. Whew, he almost hooked me. That'd have just been the icing on the cake if I'd have got hooked. He got me a little bit there. Nothing too bad, though. Nonetheless, first fish of the day, small flounder. Like I was saying, the way yesterday and today went, I'll take anything at this point. I need something to put a smile on my face, man. Next cast. Dang. All right, well, maybe this will turn out to be an okay day. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a flounder, but nonetheless, I'm also a goober, having a bad day. Yep, another flounder. And I forgot to stop and get ice, because, you know, that's what I do best. Here you go. Another flounder on the new canoe. At least, well, it's starting to shape up a little bit for me. Same deal, he's just a little one. I keep about a mirror image of the last one. Might be the same one, who knows? But there we go. At least we got another one on the boat. Oh, come on, man. Oh, dang, that is a fish. Oh, what the heck? What the heck? Oh, I was hung up on some oysters, and I was trying to get unsnagged from that. I got unsnagged. But dang, I hooked something good here. Dang, that was a crazy hit. Hopefully, I should have all that on camera. Dang, a freaking monster flounder. Oh my Lord. What a stud. Oh. Whew. I caught this girl on the good old hoodwink. If y'all don't know about the hoodwink, it's made by Southern Salt down in, I think, Mobile area, something like that. It's becoming one of my new favorite lures. But look at that girl right there. Big old girl. Yeah. I don't know what she's at. I'm going to try to get her unhooked real quick, get her out of here, but she's at least 20. Since we can't keep them, like I always say, I want to be as careful as what I can with them. So here we go. Give you one last look at her. Nope. You was doing so well not acting like a fool. But here you go. Big girl. Look at that white side on her. Look at that. So let's get a nice release, because I want to be able to find this girl come September. Oh yeah, you're ready, ain't you, girl? Yeah, there we go. That's what I like to see, man. It's with them limiting us on our flounder as much as what they can. When we catch them like this, we got to try to take care of them, because if we don't take care of them, we're going to go back to not having another season. So let's go, man. My bad 2 days is starting to get a little bit better, that's for sure. Another tip to do is flounder won't move a whole lot. They're not real big on chasing a bait. So I will, I got one there? Yep, I got one as I'm talking. Feels like another decent one. Yeah, I don't know if that's a flounder. Dang, that feels like another good one. Oh yeah. Oh no, that is another flounder. Yep, there we go, boys. Another big old, well, he's not, I mean, he's a big one, but he ain't quite as big as what that last one was. But all right, well, somewhere in here, my camera cut off while I was catching that fish. There you go. You can see another big old flounder. Caught him on that hoodwink again. Let's get him back. Same thing like I said before. You got to get a good revival on these guys. Make sure that dude's gone. Let's go, boys. Let's go. So another thing you want to do when you're flounder fishing, and I'm going to assume this applies to both live bait and artificials. Once again, this video is all about artificials. But you want to, when you're strictly flounder fishing, never throw into the same spot twice. Now, throw a foot, 2 feet left or right of where you just did, and work your way down a shoreline, down a ridge, anything like that, because these fish are not going to move very far to chase baits and do stuff like that. They will some if they're very hungry, but the majority of the time you're going to just want to start stacking cast side by side by side. So that's where it helps out. If you're pretty accurate casting, you can work a shoreline pretty good, and you'll know real quickly, man, I can't talk at all today, real quickly whether there's flounder in that area. So make sure you're using a heavy enough weight that you're bumping that bottom. A lot of times you'll see, I don't strictly flounder fish a lot just because of how bad our North Carolina regulations are, but I'll give it one pop, let it hit the bottom. One pop, hit the bottom. One pop, hit the bottom. A lot of times when I'm not flounder fishing, I'll do 2 just to kind of help keep it up off of the bottom. But when you're flounder fishing, just give it that little hop, and then that way you don't want to pull it along the bottom, because if that fish is facing backwards, you're going to hit it in the butt, you're going to scare it, you're going to miss that fish. So you want to pop it as much as you can. I shouldn't say as much as you can. You want to pop it, that way you can bounce it up and over that fish. Especially like if you're fishing on the backside of a ledge. So like here to my right is very shallow, over to the left it drops down a couple feet. So these flounder, they'll lay on that ridge, at the top of that ridge, waiting for the bait, especially as like the tide's dropping and it's pushing the bait down into that channel. Those flounder will lay there in that channel and just wait for something to come above its head, and all it's got to do is lift its head, to eat that bait. So you want to stay close to the bottom, but you don't want to drag it the whole way across. That way, if the fish is facing backwards, you're not spooking it. And then, like I said, make sure you're using a heavy enough weight for the depth that you're in. Usually 99% of the time I'm under 5 feet fishing. Like right now I'm sitting in 3.5 feet. So, you know, I'll never go above about 1/4 of an ounce the majority of the time when I'm fishing, whether it's for flounder, not for flounder, whatever. I use a 3/16 ounce jig head, just because I'm so shallow. One of my best days flounder fishing, I put a card up above here in the corner. You can click it. Just come back after the video's over to click that button. But my best flounder day fishing, I was in 1 foot of water and I tore them up. They was just stacked up everywhere where I was fishing at that day. So I know a lot of people will go offshore, fish the wrecks and the reefs and that type of stuff for flounder, but inshore flounder fishing to me is where it's at. I know at least here in North Carolina, you see, if you've watched my videos at all, I don't think I go a video without catching flounder. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, I'm in 5 feet or less of water, usually shallower than that, but same deal. Just bump along that bottom, take your cast and just stack them down the shorelines. Never throw on top of where you did before. I know other fish you do. With flounder, you do not, just because they're such opportunist eaters. If there's a flounder there and you put a bait in its face, it's going to eat it. Pretty much no ifs, ands, or buts about it, unless that girl just gorged herself and she got no more. But 9 times out of 10, if a flounder's laying there, you're gonna catch it. Okay, so right here I got a flounder on. So there you go. You see, you get that hook set on that thing. Just a little one. I pretty much yeeted that dude right up out of the water. But nonetheless, that's how you want to set the hook on these fish right here. Is you want to reach in and just snag that dude up out of the water. Even if it's a little one like this, you want to make sure that fella's hooked as good as what you can. Oh, and there he goes. Quick, easy release, man. As always, would you expect any less out of your boy, man? Just a big old goober out here. So there we go. Another one on the hoodwink. Okay, we're hooked up on another one. That's staying down, so it'll definitely be another flounder. It feels like a good one at that. Yep, there he goes running. He's staying down. Yep, another big old flounder. So just using the same techniques. Oh, come on, dude. I mean, I know it's hot as crap and that water felt good, but you didn't have to be rude like that, man. Using the same techniques that I've been talking about, but now this one is with a different lure. This is with a shrimp lure, and this is where I talk about, like, it does not matter what you throw at these guys, man. Obviously, the hoodwink is one of my favorite ones for flounder fishing, but I know we all have our favorites and everything like that of, all right, come on, man, of, you know, what brands and colors and all that type of stuff. We're as fishermen, we're all pretty good about that, of wanting to use what we want to use. He doesn't pay me to say it, but man, if you guys are not using the hoodwink or even the menace shad that Southern Salt has put out, you guys are missing out, man. He puts out some great baits, awesome stuff, great dude, and all of that. So yeah, he doesn't pay me to say that, but there you go. There's another decent flounder for y'all. Get him back, get a good drink of water there, bud, and head right back down to the bottom. So we'll see you in September. Now here's the lure that I just caught that flounder on. This is the Marker 54 glide shrimp. Now, you gotta be careful when you buy them. They all come in the same packaging and all that, because we all know your boy can't read too good no how, but they do make a jerk shrimp. And I bought that one by accident. I'm not as big of a fan of that one as I am the glide shrimp. But just so you're aware, they make a couple different colors and all that. But nonetheless, great lure. We'll catch anything. All right, we're hooked up on another decent flounder. Yeah, he's pretty good sized at that. He wasn't fighting like he was all that big, but he, nonetheless, dang, these boys are mad at me today, man. They splashing me something fierce. But it is a flounder. Same deal, caught this guy on the marker 54 shrimps. All right, come here, buddy. Come here, man. I don't want to hurt you. Nope. Just simmer down now. Nope. Simmer. I'll get it out of you. See? Look at that. That was quick and easy, man. All right, here y'all go. Here's a look at this guy. He would be legal if they was in, but for you guys that live in other states and, you know, your regulations ain't as crazy as what North Carolina's are, this will help you guys catch flounder all day long, man. Make sure you're using these techniques. Oh, he was ready to go. He was fired up. Use these techniques. Use your favorite baits. Like I said, mine for flounder fishing is definitely the Southern Salt Hoodwink. But as you see, that was another one on the marker 54. Like I might throw on the Southern Salt Menace Shad here in a minute and see if we can't get one on that dude. So the way we're putting this together today, I think I can catch him on a bare hook if I throw him out there. Okay, we got one on the Menace Shad. Oh, this dude. Wow. Look at it. I'm surprised I didn't break his jaw the way I set the hook on this little dude. Dang. Well, that's not a good representation of how the Menace Shad will catch you some fish. But nonetheless, there you go. You see, it was another flounder. It's in the new canoe. Caught on the fourth different bait, all using the same exact techniques. I've not even left the spot that I started filming this in. So 4 baits, 1 spot, and I have no clue how many flounder that is at this point, probably 10 or something like that. So this technique works, use it. So I mentioned about fishing ledges for these flounder. A lot of times that applies on a falling tide. But during a high tide, what you want to do, especially if you've got a trolling motor, the best way to do it is run parallel to the shoreline and just start flipping baits in there, and just work your way down that shoreline. You know, whenever it's low tide, you still want to kind of move around to locate them, but it's like anything. Whenever you fish at low tide, there's a lot less places they can hide. But during high tide, these flounder, they will lay right up in that grass, waiting on shrimp and the bait fish and all that stuff to get pushed into the grass line because of the tide pushing them in. So any high tide, run parallel to the bank and just start flipping baits in there, and you're about guaranteed to friggin' find them. We are hooked up again. This time it's on the Menace Shad still. And a decent flounder. Better than the last one I caught on this, so help give you a little better idea of same thing like I talked about of these dudes eating pretty much any baits or anything like that. I was hoping to catch a monster with this one, but this one would be just shy of legal if it was in season. And here you go. Show you off to this dude right here. Once again, on the Menace Shad by Southern Salt Bait Company. Get this dude back real quick. Get him going. So, as always, man, you've seen it's catching them on the Hoodwink, catching them on the Menace Shad. So, if you guys ain't using their stuff, man, you're missing the boat. Well, hopefully these tips will be helpful for y'all. I know I wanted to get this video out with the upcoming North Carolina flounder season. If you live in any place that actually has good regulations and you get to flounder fish all year, these techniques and tips will work for you. Like I said, if any of you watch any of my videos, you see I pretty much catch flounder in every one of them, and apparently they're extinct in North Carolina. So I would have to say my techniques and tips will work for you. So if you like these types of videos, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I need everyone's help on pushing that button. Obviously, it's free, no charge for any of that, just like anything else on YouTube. But if anybody's interested in some hats with the Saltwater Buffalo logo on it, make sure to hit me up. But until the next one, remember, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.